who does wudu constantly, frequently, perfectly, the one who is conscientious in doing wudu, that is the person that shall be recognized by the Prophet ﷺ on the day of judgment. We also learn in the hadith of Sahih Muslim that our Prophet ﷺ was asked about the fountain, and he said, it is ashaddu bayadu min al-laban, with the water that is in it, it is whiter than milk, wa ahla min al-asal, and it will be sweeter than honey. And he said that there will be two mizaban that are coming from Jannah. A mizab, it is like a long pipe. Okay, when you go to the Kaaba, one side of the Kaaba has that funnel or that pipe, that is called mizab. And mizab is something that was used in those days to collect the water from the roof and cause it to fall down. And those roofs that were actually padded. Even in our cultures, we have various things that do that. But in the old days, there was just a spout coming out that was going to collect the water and let it go down. So the Prophet ﷺ said that from Jannah, there will be two spouts that are coming onto the plains of the Day of Judgment. One of them from gold and the other from silver. And from these two spouts, there will be the water that is coming from the Kawthar, and it will be coming into the Hawd. Imagine and visualize this. We have the fountain, the Hawd, and the source of that water will be from Jannah itself, where there will be two spouts coming from Jannah. One made out of gleaming silver, other made out of beautiful gold. And from the Kawthar will be coming the water into the Hawd. And therefore, as I said, the first taste of Jannah on the Day of Judgment will be those who drink from the Hawd. Also, there is a beautiful icon or symbol that we will also be able to see when we're trying to find the Hawd. Our Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith in Sahih Bukhari, ما بين بيتي ومنبري روضة من رياض الجنة ومنبري على حوضي. What is between my house and between my pulpit, it is one of the gardens of paradise. And then he said, and my pulpit shall be stationed at my hawd, at my water fountain. So the pulpit of the Prophet ﷺ will then be brought, and you will see the pulpit of the Prophet ﷺ as an icon that will be in front of the fountain of the Prophet ﷺ. Some of our scholars have mentioned that the symbolism here is powerful, and that is that whoever was eager to listen to the Prophet ﷺ in this world, or to follow his sunnah, because those who saw him, those who didn't, like us, how do we listen to the minbar? Those who paid attention to what was said on the minbar, meaning the ahadith and the sunnah, those will be the ones that will be guided to the minbar, and they will be drinking from the hawd. In other words, your eagerness in following the sunnah is what will cause you to drink from the hawd. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst them. Now, the Prophet ﷺ told us that he will have a hawd on the Day of Judgment. Will all the Prophets have a hawd? There is a hadith in Sunan at-Tirmidhi that the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ لِكُلِّ نَبِيٍّ حَوْضًا وَإِنَّهُمْ يَتَبَاهُونَ أَيُّهُمْ أَكْثَرُ وَارِدُهُ وَإِنِّي أَرْجُو أَنْ أَكُونَ أَكْثَرُهُمْ وَارِدًا. That the Prophet ﷺ said, every Nabi has a hawd, and all the Prophets will be competing with one another to see who has the largest amount of people coming to his fountain, and I am optimistic that I will be the one that has the largest. So this is a hadith in Tirmidhi. Now, this hadith does have a slight weakness. Hassan has an inqita', and basically it's a very slight missing link in the era of the tabi'un, between the tabi'i and the sahabi. Nonetheless, the concept seems to be valid, and that is because many of our early scholars, they consider this to be a part of our theology, that all the Prophets have a hawd, and also because when our Prophet ﷺ listed things that are unique to him, that have not been given to other Prophets, he never listed the hawd as being unique to him. So had it been unique to him, he would have listed it. The fact that he didn't list it, it shows that every Prophet will have a hawd, and every Prophet will be calling his ummah to his hawd, and our Prophet ﷺ will be calling us to his hawd. And how shall he recognize us? By those who perform wudu. And by the way, this is a huge warning to those who are lazy in their prayers and those who do not do wudu, that from the beginning, from the very Day of Judgment, things are going to go downhill. So guard your prayer, guard your wudu, because you want things to go uphill in the next world. What are some of the characteristics of the hawd that we are familiar with? Well, a number of things are mentioned. The first thing that is mentioned, and this is mentioned in almost every single hadith, is the massive size of the hawd, the massive size of this hawd. So It is very huge, and different versions of hadith mention different city names. The Prophet ﷺ would mention typically 2 cities, and he would say that one side of my hawd is from this city to that city. So in one hadith in Bukhari, he said that my hawd is between Ayla and Sana'a. Ayla is a city that is now in Jordan, or in the occupied lands in that region. It's a small city, Ayla, which is a coastal city. And he goes, it is from there all the way to Sana'a in Yemen. In another hadith in Sahih Muslim, he said from Ayla to Aden, which is also in Yemen. In another hadith, he said from Medina to Sana'a. In another hadith, he said from Aden to Oman. In another hadith, he said from Sana'a to Basra. In yet another hadith, he said from the Kaaba to Bayt al-Maqdis. And there's many other narrations. One of the scholars has compiled all of these narrations and extracted 15 different combinations, whereas one hadith does not mention 2 cities, it mentions a time frame. Hadith in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ said, my fountain, it is the distance of 1 month's journey traveling, one side of it. Now, there are, as we said, over 15 narrations. Some people have caused doubts to come about the Sunnah by saying, hey, look, all of these different narrations are conflicting with one another. But in reality, there's no conflict. Our Prophet ﷺ is mentioning the hawd in many ahadith to many different people, and he's giving a rough idea, a rough estimate from Ayla to Aden, from Sana'a to Basra, from Mecca all the way to Jerusalem. So he's just giving a rough idea. And all of these are basically a very large, just like imagine the entire Arabian Peninsula. We're talking about like 2,500 kilometers or 1,500 miles. That's one side of it. One side of it, he is saying that's how large it is. So there's no need to find any contradiction. The Prophet ﷺ is talking about the hawd many different times, and he's giving an estimate, depending on how fast you travel or whatnot, of how large or how wide the hawd is. Also, we learn that it is a square. The hawd is not a circle, it is a square. In the hadith in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ said, وَزَاوِيَاهُ سَوَاء, and the sides of it are all equidistant. And the only way that can happen is if you have a square. And this is actually beneficial for us, because had it been a circle, then the perimeter decreases. The square has the maximum perimeter of any type of object, right? So the square has the maximum perimeter, which means the maximum people can drink from it. So can you imagine, of course I'm just being, we're not going down mathematics here, it's not measuring, but can you imagine a square that is 2,500 kilometers on one side, and then another, and then another? That's like 10,000 kilometers, right? Can you imagine how many people can be drinking simultaneously, at any given time? And so there's going to be hundreds of millions of people that will be able to drink from the hawd at any given time. And then once they drink, they can go, and others can come and come. And so the hawd is a massive, massive place where millions and millions of people can simultaneously drink, and it is going to be in the shape of a square. Now, what will they drink from? How will they get? So there's going to be a wall, there's going to be water inside of it, which where will they, what